let's learn about Python built-in data structures. So in Python built-in data structure, we normally know that we have 4 Python built-in data structure, which is list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So today we're going to discuss about Python list. So when we say something is built-in programming, we usually mean something that comes automatically with that programming language. So if we look at C++, like C++, C++ doesn't have a list data structure built in with it. You have to make it on your own. So, but Python comes with built-in Python list. It comes with a list data structure. So this is the reason why we call list a Python data structure, or we call it built-in data structure. So I hope you understand what is built-in. Built-in means something that comes with that programming language since from the creation of the programming language. So now, are we going to see what is a list? Like I said, if you watch my previous video, we talk about data structure. And we said that data structure is just a way of organizing data. And I gave you an example based on how Facebook organizes data, make it easy for the computer to search, to access the data, and retrieve the data. Based on how you organize the data is going to make it easy for computer to access the data. So we have different way of organizing the data. If I like, I can say this is, let's assume this is my cupboard. So if I like, I can arrange, if I have like multiple items, I can arrange them like this. So by arranging my item like this, it has its pros and cons. If I said I'm going to look for item 1, let's see, let me give them numbers. So if I arrange my item like this, when I come to looking for a specific one, I have to look for the numbers. For example, let's say I'm looking for item 5. So I can easily go straight to 5. I don't have to start from the beginning. No, I don't need to do that. I can just go straight to 5 because I know where the 5 is being stored. So, but let's assume when I organize the data, they don't have these numbers attached to them. And all the boxes, they are look the same. Then I said I wanted to look for box 6. So for me to look for boxes, I have to wait and see, is it the box 6? No. Then I will check this one. Is it the box 6? No. I have to check each and every box until I find the one I want. So you see, based on organized data is going to affect how I'm going to look for a specific data when I'm going to looking for it. So I hope you understand data structure. So we have different way of organizing the data. This is one of their example. So we have every different type of data type, data structure, it is a unique way of organizing the data. Now we're going to talk about list. How list organize its data. So usually list organizes its data like this. You have item 1, so this is how list organizes data. Each data that you put is going to give it a number. If you don't know what data I'm talking about, this data might be your name, might be your age, might be whatever it is. So based on when you store the data, it's going to assign number to each one of those data. So the moment you are looking for data 3, you just look for data 3 because you already know what is in data 3. But if your data become more and more complex, maybe you don't know what is in data 7 or data 10, then you have to maybe start checking around. Okay, is it maybe let's say you are looking for Jennifer, and then you don't know where Jennifer is being stored. Is it in data 5 or 3 or 6 or 7? So you just look, okay, is it 6? Then you check. and you find that it's not a Jennifer, then you check 3 and you find out it's not Jennifer. So you see, because it's assigned number to them, not the actual value of the data, is going to be hard for you if you do not know what being stored inside the data. So you know, based on how you understand the list, is going to help you to know what you should do with it. So this is what is list. At least we usually call it a mutable. When we say something is mutable in Python, we mean it can be changed. But if we call it immutable, it means it can't be changed. So now we discuss what is list. Let's see how we're going to create a list. For you to create a list inside a Python, you're just going to use a square bracket. This is square bracket. So when you use this square bracket, then you're going to put items inside. So if it is in my computer, this is how I'm going to do it. First thing, I'm going to give my data structure a name. Like this, I'm going to say, let's say I'm going to store the list of a fruit. Then I'm going to call it a fruit, then equal sign, then I will put this square bracket. If I put fruit 1, let's say mango, M, then I will put comma. So remember, if you are storing it in a string, you have to put it in a quotation like this. Then let's say I want to add another one, then I will write maybe guava, comma, and so much more, and others. So this is how we create a list inside your Python program. So when you go back to your Python, this is how you can create a list when you go back to practice, because this is the theoretical part. I'm going to explain everything you need to know about list, so that when you go to practical, it's going to take you only a minute for you to execute it and understand what you actually implementing. Because most of programmers, some of beginner programmers, they are just doing it, but they don't know exactly what they are doing. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm telling you exactly what you are doing, so that when you go back to your computer and start doing it, you know exactly what you are doing. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel as long as you want to see more video of myself explaining different concepts of programming related to networking, database, API, and so much more. So this is how we're going to create a list. And now, you see, this is the list we created. We put 2 items, M and G, in a string, which means mango and guava. So indexing is just like looking for a specific data inside that list. So let's say now I have like thousands of data. If I want to look for a specific one, what I just need to do is just calling it index. So when you create this list called fruits, the first one has an index of 0. The second one has an index of 1. If we have the third one, is going to be 2. The third one, 3, 4, 5. This is how it's going to continue. So I hope you're going to expect what is going to become in the 10th one. Good. So this is about indexing. So how will you be able to access a single element? So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to call the name of the list, which is fruits, and then we put square bracket. Then we put the index of the element we want to access. Let's say I want to access G, and G is index 1. Then I'm going to put 1. So if I print this in my Python program, I'm going to see G, because I'm accessing G. I hope you understand the point. Good. So now we understand what is indexing. It's just accessing a single element inside your list of 1,000 elements. So what is slicing? Slicing is just like, let's say, this is a wood. So if you like, you can slice some portion of this wood. If I like, I can say, okay, let me cut here and take this part and remove it with this part. Or I can just say, let me take here. So I'm slicing them so that now it's going to be different and now it's going to be different. So this is how slicing works. So in our list, if we have like thousands of elements, we can slice them if we like. we can slice some portion of those elements and work with them. So now we have only 2 elements. Let me add the third one. Let's call it F. So now we have third element, which is going to have an index of 2. So if I wanted to slice, maybe let's say only two of those elements, I just want to take only 2 of those elements. Slicing means just to cut down some portion of your data inside a list. So if I want to cut down only M and G, what I'm going to do, I'm going to also call roots. Then I'm going to say start from index 0. This is telling it where to start cutting, and then you put colon. This is exactly what you're going to write in your computer. And when you run it, you have to print it to see what's the output. So when you write fruits, index 0, start with index 0, colon, and you set, okay, I want you to take only 2 elements, 1, 2. So then you're going to say, I want you to take 2 elements. Then you write them here. Take 2 elements. So when you run this program, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see another list with M and G. So you see, this is what we call slicing. This is what we call slicing. And also, if you like, slicing has other method. You can say start from index 0, and then I want you to skip one element after the other. If we have like this is element, this is element, this element, this element inside our list. So if you take this one, then go over this one, jump it, and look for the next one. When you take this one, then go over it and look for the second one. So this is what we are going to do here. So now we have 3 elements. If I tell him to skip one of them, and then I'm going to put colon again, then I'm going to tell him how many elements. Then I will say 3. So you see, by doing something like this, we're going to start from M, and then he will jump out G and look for F, because this is telling it where to start, and this is telling it the step is going to take. Here I did not put the step, I put only start and stop. Oh sorry, start and how many elements. So by putting it start and how many elements, automatically Python will look at this as a 0. So it's going to take every one of them. So this is the first one is start, step, and then how many elements. How many? Look at it as how many elements, not stop. How many elements? So now we learn about index and slicing. Let's look at our next, which is list method. When we set method, what do you understand by the word method in programming? They are somehow the same thing with function, but method usually come with what we call an object. Let me give you an example. This is me, and this is you. So if we have a universal function, it's going to be every one of us will die. This is our universal function. That means die is one of our function, dead, and then we are both of us. If you want to survive, we have to work. So you see, these things, they are common between me and you. You're going to die, you're going to work. If you want to survive, you have to learn, you have to this, you have to do this. But when it comes to, let's say, my dressing, when you look at me, maybe the way I'm dressing is completely different from the way you are dressing. This is because of my point of view. So I can just say, maybe I have a red jersey, I have a pickup, and maybe you don't have. So you see, this cap, this red, and what I'm doing, for example, like I like to run and do other stuff like that. This is my method. This cap, red, we can call them attribute to myself. And running, jumping, something that I really wanted to do, and maybe I am, my skin is black, and maybe yours is white or black. So you see, this is my method. It's somehow the same thing with function. And also based on you, this is your own method. So every object in programming has its own method. So, and also those object has a universal function that work on every of those objects. So I hope you understand. So what are the methods? That means something that only belongs to list, something that can only work on a list, not in any other object. So now we have a fruit list. So you see I said fruit dot append a. This append means to add. So virtually we cannot see it, but we just tell the computer that to add letter A to our list. So we usually, if we print this list, we're going to see A at the end. So this is what this method is doing. It's telling the Python list to add this element we put inside the parentheses. And also we have another method which is called fruits.remove. So this remove, we usually use it to remove an element inside our list. So then I'm going to put the name of element, let's say M. I want to remove M. So this remove method is going to go and remove this M from our list. So we have so many methods that it will help you to modify your list programmatically, not manually when you are writing the code. No, programmatically telling the computer how to do it. So append to add element, remove to remove the element. So what are the most important methods for you to know when you are working with data structure? To me, these are appending, adding element, and removing an element. When it comes to adding it very efficiently or removing it very efficiently, as a programmer, you have to think on your own and how to solve that kind of problem. That's what you are doing all the time as a programmer, solving problem. So this is all about list method. If you have any question or you want to know any concept theoretically about programming, just write it down in the comment section below.